Uprooting your family for a new start abroad is a once-in-a-lifetime challenge. Well, at least it is for most of us. But what if your dreams were still unfulfilled after moving halfway around the world? Would you be willing to go through it all over again? Craig and Chantel France-Brotherton were forced to give up the life they loved in South Africa.
We had people break into our home in the very early hours of the morning, and we were both shot.
But Craig is struggling to find a place to call home.
It gets me down in the UK to stay inside all the time. It makes me feel claustrophobic.
And he has to convince his family to start a new life all over again.
It takes such a lot of work, and just not sure I can do it again.
With thousands of miles of pristine beaches and a sunny climate, Australia is the #1 destination for people moving out of the UK. However, the new life they sought doesn't always match up to expectations, and over 10,000 return home every year to the life they left behind. The France-Brothertons have just 1 week to experience the reality of living in Australia. At the end of it, they'll face a life-changing decision, whether to stay in the UK or to make the move down under a permanent one. The first part of the journey takes them 11,000 miles around the globe to Perth. The 24 hours in the air have not settled Chantel's worries.
I'm a little bit nervous, to be honest, because you don't quite know how things are going to turn out for real.
Well, there's a lot to find out and a lot of decisions to make, I think, yeah.
So I was a bit nervous before. I'm quite a lot more nervous now that Craig's opened his mouth.
Yes, Craig had better be careful about what he says. Australia is his dream, and he has a long way to go to convince his family to emigrate. The France-Brotherton family are made up of Craig, Chantel and their 3 children, 13-year-old Alison and twins Roxanne and Tristan, age 5. For the last 10 years they've lived in Donington near Birmingham. They are originally from South Africa, but a terrifying event left them unable to face living there any longer.
We had a violent incident on our farm 13 years ago. We had people break into our home in the very early hours of the morning, and we were both shot. So Craig was in hospital for 6 months, on and off for 6 months, and I was in there for a month and a half. So we decided there and then that we would be leaving South Africa, mostly because we wanted to give Alison the opportunity to have a safer and more reliable existence than we could offer living in South Africa.
The experience definitely changed our outlook in life. I mean, there's no two ways about it. To me, it's not a case of careers and this and thing. It's a case of living to the max. I mean, that's why I like to go and experience things.
You try and be philosophical about these things, obviously, because they happen, and lots worse things happen to lots of other people. So you just say, well, it's happened, we've experienced it, we survived it, let's move on.
As their grandparents were originally from the UK, it was Chantel's first choice for a new home.
To be honest, it's one of the best things I've ever done. I've really, really valued every moment that I've had in the UK. I love the UK. I
don't regret coming over here at all.
No.
Although they love living in the UK, it's a far cry from the life they left behind in South Africa.
In South Africa, 10 years ago, we used to live on a farm, so wide open space, 25 acres. It's huge, I think the closest house was 300 metres away.
For Craig in particular, it was the ideal lifestyle.
He was outside all the time, repairing the roof, and it was like a total cut-off for him. We came to the UK and he didn't do any of those things anymore. So I think that he's really after something he's lost.
To help Craig find what's missing in his life, Chantel has agreed to give Australia a try.
Craig agreed to come to the UK on condition that if he wasn't happy, we would consider going somewhere else. And Australia was always the place that he was talking about.
Craig is hoping Australia will give a better life for his family. Luckily, their daughter Alison is also taken by the idea.
Overall, about Australia, I think I'm really excited about it. It's a new adventure, so I'm looking forward to going there and trying it out.
However, having built new friendships and a successful career in the UK, Chantel is torn by the idea of giving it all up.
Family isn't only about those people you're related to. It's your really, really close friends. Those people that are, I feel like I've grown up with them, even though I haven't. I met them when I came to England. So
Chantel's mum has also moved to the UK. Emigrating to Oz would mean saying goodbye to her again.
The thing is, I probably won't get to see my mum very much because she likes to go to South Africa where my gran is and my granddad when she has time away. So I don't really know whether she'll be able to come and visit us or not.
Australia might be Craig's hope of a better life, but it's a dream that could leave his family torn.
She will definitely be giving up a lot, yeah. She's made her life in the UK, really. I wouldn't say everything she wants, but she's getting there.
Craig hasn't really necessarily, I think, invested as much in the UK. But I'm thinking, am I going to have to do that all over again in Australia? It takes such a lot of work, and just not sure I can do it again.
Both Craig and Chantel know just how difficult emigrating can be, but Craig still yearns for the happiness he hopes Australia will bring. He has just 1 week to convince Chantel to give up the life she's built in the UK. The France Brothertons will be spending their trial week in Perth. It's a bustling city that's benefiting from the economic boom in Western Australia. And being spread out along the coast means there's easy access to national parks and open countryside, which should suit Craig. The final leg of the journey brings the France Brothertons to their home for the week in the area of Bickley. Set on the outskirts of Perth, it should give a good idea of country living. Right away, one person is suitably impressed.
Wow! Cool!
What's cool, boy?
This garden!
This garden is cool.
Oh, lots of place to run around.
However, everyone seems a lot less excited about running around inside the house. Chantel hasn't been impressed by this house, and it's got her worried about what emigrating to the Australian countryside might mean.
I'm concerned that when you move to this kind of area, you have to buy an older house, and they don't have as much storage and that kind of stuff as we need, which means that we'll be back to me living in our DIY project with you, and I'm not doing that. I love you, but I'm not doing that.
I'm not too worried about the place. I think it's nice. I'm more worried about what's around outside. Land and loads of space, and it's great. It's fantastic. I love the trees, and actually, I think it's even better than I imagined. Really, really stunning. Yeah.
I think I'm gonna cry. No, I'm just disappointed. Oh, that's a stupid thing to say, but it's true.
Fortunately, Tristan and Roxanne don't have any issues about storage or space.
Who did that?
Back in the UK, the France Brothertons own a 3-bedroom house which they've made into a home they love.
I'm happy here. We've been renovating this house since we moved in, which is 8 years ago. And we're kind of just coming to the culmination of that now. So if we decided to move to Australia in the near future, that means all of this work is being for somebody else. Hurrah!
Having lived a very different life in South Africa, they have strong ideas about what they'd like from an Australian home.
We're looking for something where we've got some space around us. Not really interested in living in suburbia because I'd like a big enough garden for the kids to be able to play ball games and to have a pool.
5 acres.
5 acres. Yes, love.
We've organised for the France Brothertons to sample Perth's housing market. We'll show them 3 typical options ranging from what they want in their ideal home to what they can afford. After seeing for themselves what's on offer, they'll find out the price of each house. Their first stop is in Ellenbrook on the outskirts of Perth. It's a rural area close to national parks, but the housing is made up of busy estates. The family are viewing a 4-bedroom show home. This is a classic Aussie house, sleek and modern, just what Chantel wants.
It's not exactly what I expected.
But we can then choose where we build this?
I believe so, yeah.
Right, okay.
It may not have the amount of land Craig would like, but they could have this design built on a bigger plot if they like the house.
Let's have a look. Very spacious. Oh wow, Craigie, look at this. Oh, I like it.
Oh, wow, yeah.
This is definitely a good start. In fact, I think Chantal might have taken more than a liking to this house.
I love this.
It's a nice one, yeah.
I do. I just love it. It's lovely. I like that it's complete, that you can just move in. You don't have to do anything to it. I love the open way that Australian houses are designed in terms of the kitchen and the living area because it just suits the way that we want to live anyway, doesn't it? I want to be able to just get in and have parties.
Yep, Chantal has definitely fallen head over heels for this house. But will the bedrooms keep the romance going?
Oh, Craigie. Oh,
that's nice.
Look at. I love it.
Look, this is huge.
Storage! Where are you going to put your clothes?
No, I'm sure it's big enough now.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
It is stunning.
Well, it's certainly satisfied Chantal's needs. Can the garden do the same for Craig?
It's really lovely, isn't it?
Yeah, it is nice.
The only thing is, there isn't very much space where I don't know if the plot of land that you choose is any bigger than this. Because there isn't.
Well, the plot I want is definitely bigger than this, so...
We absolutely need more space than this.
That is a shame. This house is certainly in their ideal home category, but the garden just isn't big enough. The question is, can Craig and Chantal even afford it on their £250,000 budget, let alone one on a bigger plot?
For the land, it'll probably be over, won't it?
I don't think so. Come on, find out. Come on.
Yeah, so this is 400,000 and that's without the land.
£257,000 is right at the top of their budget, leaving nothing to buy more land.
So this is what we can't have. Oh, let's go and find out what we can have. Right, shall we round up our children?
Off we go, yeah?
Yeah, before they damage a house we can't afford. We can go.
It seemed like a promising start to Craig's hope of convincing Chantal to emigrate. But if they can only just afford this house, could something similar but with lots of land be out of reach? One solution would be to look further out from the city, so they've come to the Wundowie area. As it's quite rural, properties with large amounts of land are more affordable. However, it's over 40 miles from Perth, meaning long commutes for work.
This is more like it, isn't it, Craigie?
This 3-bedroom house does come with nearly 4 acres of land, but it's not the pristine show home they've just seen. I'm guessing that silence is not speechless with delight.
Oh dear. It's definitely work to be done, isn't there?
This house might have the space Chantal and Craig would like, but they can both see it would need some serious TLC.
There's loads of work to be done.
It's wrong.
One built-in wardrobes of a fashion.
Yeah.
Okay, and bedroom number 4.
No storage, yeah. So it'll have to be redone again.
Every room in this house will probably need to be stripped down and redone.
And this time, Chantal isn't quite so taken with open-plan living.
It's not the way that I would like it to be set out, so we would need to do it again. Let's look outside, obviously, but I can't see myself living here, Craig.
There are 4 acres of land. Can that make up for the shortcomings of this house?
Yeah, it's quite big, yeah. It's quite a big piece of land. It's definitely big enough, I think.
Yeah.
It's just pretty about the house, you know. I mean, everything else you everything else you can sort out, but the house, you'd have to start from scratch.
No, I'm afraid you're absolutely right. It is a real pity because they love this, don't they?
Craig and the children might love the outside space, but they know this house isn't going to win Mum over.
She likes everything to be clean and easy to clean, and it doesn't look like it's going to be easy to clean. She likes lots of storage, as you probably gathered. But we like the space, don't we, Tito?
Yeah, we like that space, don't we?
We like all the space so we can run around and just do what we want to.
Perhaps the price can turn the house into a contender. The right figure could mean money left over to fix it up to their taste.
Shall we find out?
Foxy.
You can turn it over if you like, Roxanne. Ah, how many is that?
27,000,000.
That's £20,000 over budget.
This house costs more than the house that you just saw last one in suburbia. I don't think it's going to be an easy job to find a house that we want on our budget.
I don't think it's going to be an easy job at all.
It's a big setback for Craig's dream. This house had the land he wants, but it doesn't look like Chantal would want to live here. Now there's only one property left to convince her on Australian homes. The Mundaring area, 20 miles east of Perth, is halfway between urban and rural. This could mean the France Brothertons being able to afford a house with a large garden, while being close to facilities and the countryside. This 3-bedroom property does have the modern look that the family all like, but can it come anywhere near the first one, which everyone fell in love with?
Okay. This is nice.
Yeah.
Nice enough size. So that's nice.
Yeah,
little
it's a
study of
study,
the
yeah.
living area.
It's really nice, yeah.
Storage. I mean, this is nice.
It's for kids' room, yeah.
It's nice enough. Oh, this is really nice, Craigie.
Yeah, nice stove.
Yeah.
Well, this may be a nice house, but it's safe to say it's not love at first sight. Will the garden elicit a different response?
This is very nice.
Maybe not. It is a good-sized garden, but it's not what Craig had hoped for.
It's a lot of compromise too, you know. It actually all depends on the price, really.
Yeah, it does. You want to have a bounce on the trampoline?
OK, let's find out the cost of this house then. Maybe it can lift everyone's subdued spirits.
Right, Roxy, let your brother do it this time. Turn it over. Okay.
That's £50,000 over budget and a real blow to Craig's dream.
I can't see that that's the price, you know. If it was
that's what it costs.
100,000, yeah, 100,000 cheaper, yeah, maybe. But not at 460.
So
Definitely.
what it's just telling you is that for a tiny bit of extra land, you have to pay significantly more. It's not proportionate.
Let's see if people use it.
House hunting around Perth has been a real eye-opener for the France Brothertons. Everybody fell for the wow of the first modern show home, especially if they could afford more land to put it on. The second had the land Craig wants, but the house was a no-no and over budget. And the final house, which was perfectly nice, did show that affording the house and the land might be beyond their means. So have these properties convinced anyone that leaving the UK would be worth the upheaval?
I think we're going to vote for... Undecided. Australia. You two said Australia. Do you like Australian houses?
Well, we're going to have to use your piggyback money then.
Doesn't look like we can afford what we really want in terms of land and the home that we have on it in Australia or in the UK. That's why I've voted undecided.
I voted undecided because if I want the land, you know, there's going to be a lot more research need to be done.
That wasn't the start the France Brothertons were hoping for in Australia. And Craig's dream of a house with land is looking like an expensive one. It leaves both Craig and Chantel in need of finding good work prospects in Perth. In the UK, Craig works as a telecom technician and Chantel is a human resources manager in the NHS. Today, while the children are looked after by a childminder, we've arranged for both of them to find out just what working in Australia could mean. After the setbacks of property prices, everything is riding on Craig and Chantel being able to earn good wages. Craig is the main visa applicant and he's meeting with company director Doug Butcher, who has a little surprise to test his skills.
I've got a client upstairs. Should we go up and have a look?
Yeah, fantastic. Let's go.
Here's a cable. There's a handset.
All right. Excellent. Yeah.
I am a bit nervous today. My job is really important to me and I've worked really hard over the last 10 years. I'm worried that if I come to Australia, I'll have to start all over again. I don't want to have to do that.
To help address her worries, Chantel is meeting with recruitment consultant Kira Benton, who moved here from the UK.
Thank you.
It's a great chance for Chantel to impress with her knowledge of the industry.
While I'm happy to do HRM, my preference is L&D really.
Yeah.
Doing lots of work with SMEs, kind of on a consultancy basis, that including ETs and all that kind of stuff.
Well, that certainly sounds impressive. Meanwhile, with Craig's task completed, it's time to find out what his skills could be worth.
Well, your CV looks pretty good. Obviously, you're quite experienced in terms of what sort of pay you can expect. In Perth, typically an apprentice or a new qualified tech will take home somewhere around about the $45,000 to $50,000 mark. A more experienced tech like yourself would probably be looking at somewhere between 55 to maybe 70.
That could mean Craig doubling his salary to around £50,000. But crucially, would he have time to enjoy living in Australia?
I just wanted to ask you about the working hours, which I'm quite interested in.
Well, having worked in the UK myself a number of years ago, I think what you'll find is the working hours in Perth are probably a little bit longer than what you would have experienced in the UK. Like any technical position, you should be aware there will be some unsociable hours, but it's really not that bad. Well, yeah, this all looks good, Craig, and I think you've got excellent chances of employment here. I think when you get back, you should probably give us a call.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Craig's work prospects do look positive, but only if he can face the possibility of long hours. Back at Kira's office, Chantel is getting to the most important questions.
So what kind of salary do you think we're looking at?
For a learning and development role, you'd probably look at a starting salary of about 100 to 120 per annum. Would that be sort of within what you were expecting?
Yeah, that sounds about equivalent to where I am now. So I'm comfortable with that in terms of... I would obviously like to improve my prospects as I go along, but that sounds really good. It sounds like I wouldn't have to take too big a step back.
Exactly. I think if long term, if you were to look at senior strategic learning and development roles, then you could head towards the 150 to 200k salary mark.
That's great news. Even the starting salary would be £60,000, $20,000 more than she currently earns. But are there any vacancies?
How do you think the job market is in Perth at the moment? Do you think there are lots of opportunities? Or?
There are. If it gives you any assurance, I'm currently trying to recruit a learning and development manager position for Perth, and the client hasn't been able to source anybody in the market, so they've really opened the search and are currently interviewing people who are based in the UK who are looking to relocate here. And to top that off, they're also offering sponsorships.
Excellent. That's brilliant news for me, isn't it?
Definitely. Well, if you do end up moving over, make sure that you give me a call.
Oh, I will definitely do that. Thank you so much for seeing me and for your time. I'm really grateful.
It's really great to meet you. So best of luck with everything.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Potential work and higher salary. That must be reassuring news for Chantel. And when she eventually meets up with Craig, it's a chance to catch up on their day.
How'd it go?
Oh, very well.
Yeah?
And yours?
Very good, actually. I'm really impressed.
So does that mean they've been swayed by the possibility of working in Australia? Could Chantel really face giving up the career she's worked so hard to build? Time to vote.
Australia! Oh, hasn't it been a better day than yesterday?
Definitely.
A much better day than yesterday. And actually, yesterday might have been improved if we'd had today first.
Yeah, I don't think so. Maybe we have to go and do yesterday again.
Yeah. You want to do yesterday again?
A resounding vote for Australia has rescued Craig's hopes of emigrating, even if earning more money means working longer hours. But it's his dream of an outdoor family lifestyle that's driving his desire to move. And if Perth can offer it, it'd be a big step forward. Craig would love to spend lots of time outdoors with his family. Unfortunately, the UK climate means a lot of time spent indoors. He's hoping to show them Australia could deliver their ideal lifestyle. So today the France Brothertons have come to the Perth Hills to get a true taste of the Aussie outdoor life. It will also give them time to mull over the decisions they face. This is a rare chance to spend time together in beautiful outdoor surroundings. However, things soon turn ugly.
You gotta admit, it was fun though.
No, it wasn't. I'm freezing.
Oh.
This is precisely why Craig wants to emigrate. Luckily, the children are on board.
He's like a big kid, isn't he?
He loves doing stuff like this. He loves going like hiking and canoeing, and he just thinks it's really cool that we can all do it as a family. Can I go capsize him now?
Today has reminded Craig just why he's so desperate to move to Australia.
It feels so great to be able to get out. It's a real stress relief, I feel. It gets me down in the UK to stay inside all the time. It makes me feel claustrophobic. There's nothing wrong with the UK, but for me, all my life as a child, I've been able to get outside and have this outdoor life all the time.
However, for Chantel, enjoying the day with her family is a painful reminder of what she stands to lose again.
Well, I know that I was very lonely when I first went to England, when I left all my friends and family in South Africa. And yes, you keep in contact and yes, you talk, but it's not the same. It's not the same having people thousands and thousands of miles away. They still care about you, but they're thousands and thousands of miles away. And I know that I'll be lonely when I first come here, if we choose to come.
So when it comes to choosing, how will they vote after just a little taste of what living in Australia could offer?
Spent a lovely day in the Perth Hills in the great outdoors, and now we're going to vote. And vote.
Australia.
Australia. Oh, everyone's going to Australia.
I don't see how I could have voted otherwise. Great.
The Aussie lifestyle was a real reminder to Craig and Chantel of what they left behind in South Africa, but it also gave them a real glimpse of the future they could have down under. However, with finances looking tight, could the benefits of living in Oz come at too high a price? Craig and Chantel bought their house 8 years ago for just over £100,000. And after Craig's constant DIY, they're hoping for a higher price. We sent round 2 local estate agents to give up-to-date valuations.
Oh, we're keen to speak, good boy.
Lovely blinds, very stylish fire. Good sized room, open plan leading off the lounge. Right. The choice of units now, perhaps 5 or 6 years ago, would have been acceptable, but I think anybody looking at it may want to give it a bit of a makeover. Open plan. Patio doors, plenty of lighting. Lovely. Downstairs bathroom, looks like it could be nice when it's finished.
Please just let it finish.
Dad, I'm never going to finish that.
We will finish it. It's almost finished now.
Okay, bit of a work in progress here.
Oh, he's kind, isn't he, Craig?
Probably might have a slightly home office, even a 4th bedroom, but I'd recommend that the vendors actually finish off to make it the finished product, because the property will suffer slightly.
Probably good advice. Oh, he's wearing his shoes up my stairs.
They'll be in big trouble, won't they?
I will. I'm going to hunt them down, Tito.
Nice, pleasantly decorated, cosy room.
That's
Bedroom 3. Good sized 3rd bedroom.
That's really clean.
Okay, very nice contemporary bathroom, very stylish, and I think people would love this.
Oh, well done. Oh, well done.
Here we have a very good size 3/4 flexible semi-detached property. If you're going to put the property on the market now, I'd recommend an asking price of £105,000. If you wanted to sell it quickly, I would keep the price under £100,000 and set it at £99,950. This is a nicely decorated, partially modernised, 3-bedroom semi-detached house, and I would value it at approximately £115,000. For a quick sale, I would value the property at £105,000.
I think what they failed to notice there, I mean, now that most of the work's finished anyway, is that it's a 4-bedroom house and not a 3-bedroom house.
Yeah, because you did call it a 3-bedroom.
You call it a 3-bedroom house. You're going to have difficulty finding a 4-bedroom house for $120,000, under $120,000, let's put it that way.
Craig might disagree about how his DIY has affected the house's value, but will he be able to argue with the price of living down under? While the children enjoy the sunshine, Mum and Dad get to compare living costs between the UK and Australia. Will this be another blow for Craig's dream?
Wow, look at the difference there. Hallelujah. I'm going to have to kick my coffee habit. Look how much more expensive potatoes are, Craigie. Ow. Ow, ow, ow.
The everyday expenses come out at £220 more a month, and that's before they've taken a bigger mortgage into account.
So, you ready for the next lot? Brace yourself, boy.
I'm a bit worried now.
Brace yourself.
They've decided to use the 3rd most expensive house for their calculations.
Oh my God.
Wow, that is quite expensive. That's triple what we paid at home, isn't it?
Yeah, that's three times our current mortgage payment.
That's an extra £1,100 a month just on mortgage payments. Is there any chance their Australian salaries can make up for these huge outgoings?
So it looks like our after-tax monthly income in the UK was £2,900 odd pounds.
Yes.
And in Australia, it looks like our monthly income will be about 5,938 after tax.
That is great news. Their income is more than doubled in Australia. The move is back on.
I'm a little bit happier now. You're very much happy, I can see. That's really good news.
The figures do look promising on paper, but will Craig and Chantal have faith in their calculations?
Australia. It's a no-brainer, really, isn't it?
Discovering they could afford the life Craig dreams of looks to have made the breakthrough with Chantal. But her biggest fear has always been about losing the things that money can't buy. The family have decided to watch messages from loved ones together, so they know just what they'd be leaving behind.
Hi Craig, hi Chantal, hi children. I hope you're having a fantastic time.
Hi guys. The France Brothertons, they're unique. They're very unique. Wonderful people.
Chantal is my absolute best friend in the whole wide world. She's the sister I never had.
Alison is one of the coolest kids I know in the world. Roxy's the little miss. And Tristan is away with the fairies. And obviously I relate to him very well. Because we are very similar.
I'm missing you a hell of a lot, and I'm very happy for you, and I hope that you know that wherever I am, there will always be a home for you. I don't want to think about it even. I can't think about it without crying. It's the kids I'm going to miss terribly. I'll miss them as well, of course, but the whole family, but it's quite wrenching, actually.
Chantal, I'll miss you. I can't imagine how much I would miss you, but I know now already that you're going to leave a big, big hole in my life. I know that you and Craig are doing the right thing and you're going to be really happy and you'll make it work. But just never forget how much we love you.
I know you guys are looking to fulfill a dream. It's one that is going to break my heart when you go, but understand why you need to go. Going to miss you with every fibre of my being. Love you lots, guys. All of you.
For me, it's the worst bit. It's worse than anything. And I love all these people. Very, very much. Not quite sure what I'm going to do without them. I know I will, if I have to, but...
Mum, I hate leaving people behind.
I hate leaving people behind too, baby. I do too.
Watching messages was a reminder of just how painful emigrating can be. But if Chantal can't face leaving the people and home she loves, it would mean the end to Craig's dream. For the second time in their lives, the France Brothertons have to decide where their future lies. Their first move from South Africa was under terrible circumstances, but this choice won't be any easier.
Doing this all before, it is quite hard to do it all again, I think. But in one way, we know what's to come.
The decision this time is nothing like the decision was last time, because it's almost as if we didn't have much choice last time, and the decision was made for us, and all we really were doing was prepping towards the move. This time, I feel like I have a choice. It's much harder because it's me doing it this time instead of it happening to me.
So when it comes to the final vote, have they seen enough to uproot the family again?
Based on everything we found out this week, we're going to give it one final vote as to where we think holds the best future for us. And we're going to vote for...
Australia!
Australia.
I'm very happy that everybody votes in Australia. This is fantastic. It's a whole new life now. It's got to start from the beginning again and build a new life here in Australia.
Okay, do you want me to change my vote now?
In just 1 week, Craig's family have been convinced that Australia could give back the lifestyle they were forced to leave behind. The France Brothertons' time down under saw them well and truly sold on a life in Australia.
But did their enthusiasm outlast their suntans? Well, a few days ago, Chantal and Craig got in touch to say they had some news for us. So I've come to Donington to find out exactly what it is. Hello, Chantal.
Hello.
Lovely to meet you.
Thank you.
I understand you've got some news to tell me, and I've just spotted the sign.
Oh, I do indeed. Come on in, I'll tell you.
So what's happened since you've got back?
Well, it's all systems go. We stayed on for an extra couple of weeks in Australia. Craig applied for a job. He got offered it the day after we got back.
Oh my goodness, things have really moved on.
Yeah.
So when does he go to Australia?
He's leaving the day after tomorrow. He's going without us. The kids and I are staying until the end of July after the school year is finished and until the house is sold. But yeah, it's all systems go.
Most people take a year to plan to move to Australia. You've done it in weeks. We're not talking months, we're talking weeks. You must be a very calm person.
I manage pressure quite well, so it'll be all right. In the end, it'll have to be, won't it?
Now, you mentioned there's always work to be done on this house. Obviously, that is Craig's domain.
He's done a huge amount of work over the last 3 weeks. He has worked his little socks off, let me tell you. He has. He had to finish the bathroom, the downstairs bathroom, which has been an ongoing long-term project. He's done an absolutely super job. He's in the back there at the moment, sorting out all these tools that he's got to take with him.
Packing his tools. And has he packed his clothes and anything yet?
No.
And he goes in a day and a half. Look at him, hard at work. So it's all rather exciting, isn't it? You moving in, 48 hours?
Yeah.
Did you ever envisage that this move was going to be quite so quick?
No, definitely not. It was, I thought I had at least a good few months now.
So when do you actually start the new job?
Well, it's just over a week's time. And that's going to be a bit of a scary. But I think I'll do quite well out there. It's definitely what I want to do. It's quite an exciting opportunity.
So in a way, it's the best case scenario for you. You've got what you wanted.
Yeah.
But you're going to be working hard in Australia, getting everything ready for when they come out, aren't you?
Yes, baby.
Yes.
The answer's yes.
The answer's yes. Believe you me, we're absolutely delighted that you're going to make the move. I don't think we quite expected it to be this soon. So, Craig, all the best with the new job next week when you start. Exciting times. And Chantal, you've got an awful lot of work to do here in the UK, haven't you, before you get on that plane? And one last thing, Craig, please don't move again.